welcome everybody to Monday Night Freewheel Station. And I think we get like the opening credits, we get like the drage system with the three planets and their various moons. We get like the star in the background, and we see the camera sees, pans around, and we see the station itself, this big sort of wheel like hanging in the space with, ships kind of coming and going, and you know, it's a bit fancier than it was in season one, a bit more put together and better off and what have you, by a very noticeable degree. But we still, as the camera pans up, and flies under the bottom of the station, we still see where that wrench is welded into a corner joint where somebody just didn't have any other way to hold this stuff together and just welded it like that. And it comes out on the other side, and we get the logo Freewheel Station. And I think when we start with Kib. And Kib, you haven't had a lot of chance over the couple of years that Hurlick's crew were here to really get into the guts of this station.
What?
Um, because you've been playing whack-a-mole with all the other problems and stuff. Since you were effectively the only person running engineering for the entire station full of, pirates and stuff, you were more concerned with keeping things maintained than getting too far into it. And this last couple of years, the last year and a half or whatever it's been since Philip's been here, you've been constantly training new crew to do what you've normally done so that you can get deeper in. And there's something, maybe you're like you're pretty far into like the guts of this thing. Like you're somewhere deeper in than you've gone. Um, and you're looking around here, and I want you to give me an engineering check here, or a perception check, whichever is better for you.
You can do it.
Well, being perception is 0. We're going with engineering.
Fair enough. That's appropriate for here.
Woo!
Well, you have over the past couple of years, you've run into a lot of different things. Like nobody ever really talked about where this station even came from. You're not sure anybody in Hurlick's crew even knew. And it never seemed like the previous occupants, to them, ever really gave a shit or whatnot. And over the time, everybody's sort of patchworked things here and there. But as an engineer, you can it's like a car guy who can tell you the make and model, the original specifications for any old car, and the production line dates and things like that. So there's various engineering that you can tell, whoever put it here, where they were probably trained at or when they probably put it in, based on the design specs or whatever. There's a few that have been non-traditional, but there's always been a few places here and there where the engineering just doesn't make sense compared to any sort of engineering background that you can think of. Like some stuff that you've never come across before. Like, sure, having a secondary backup for a triple modulating, sort of like junction, might be endemic to, say, the, engineering that comes out of Vercease. you know there's some things that you just can't, like, there's some things you've never been able to really put together as to where this engineering feats come from. And and now that you're getting deeper into the guts of this thing, you're seeing more of this kind of engineering style that you've never been able to identify before. And you're seeing a lot of it as you're getting closer. And come to think of it, the station itself has never had full specs, full like um, construction diagrams. Like it's had cobbled together piecemeal of what you found from other previous occupants, your own observations and things like that. But it's not like this thing really came with a user's manual.
Well,
So
there wasn't like data that says this is when this was created and moved
exactly.
here and all that type stuff.
So nobody's ever really kind of considered why this station is here, where it came from, who built it or who put it here. Nobody's even cared in a long time. It's just sort of been here. Um, but the more you looking at this stuff and the fact that you're seeing more of it as you're getting into the getting deeper into the like sort of systems and whatnot, you're starting to figure that this might actually be the engineering style of whoever built it because it's less prevalent in like the surface things that would have had to have been patched over the years. But as you get deeper in, like the deeper inner workings, things that seem like they've been dormant for a while or have never failed to function properly, you're seeing a lot more of this sort of engineering stuff going on. And there's still a large chunk towards the very center of this you've never even been. No one's been. Uh, you know, there's parts of like the back engineering tunnels and whatnot that just complete mystery. But you're starting to see more of this design that you can't place as you go deeper in.
Well, given this exploration is still going to be like notate the specific engineering style of this unknown thing and just,
Right.
take a mental note of it in case somehow, somewhere, maybe in the distant future, he comes across, one of those archive thought processes that hey, if I come across it, maybe I'll understand more about it or could relay it some way. It's one of those archive thoughts.
All right. Cool. So you do notice a something that looks like a fail-safe device on here. Um, you're not sure what it is or what it goes to, but it looks like it's something that was engineered to kick in the case of an emergency.
Yeah, that I would actually make a map knowing where it is for my own personal notation in case something
Mhm.
triggers that and I would know why. Like
Okay.
do the whole uh engineering tracking of how like doing like the backwards tracking engineering to figure out what it would that would cause that to go off so I would know what to look out for.
You're trying to reverse engineer what it might be.
Yeah, what's gonna set it off?
Um, Give me another engineering check here. This is
Say
a very
honestly,
specific thing.
I would have taken 20. That would have given you plenty
Actually,
of time. How'd
yeah,
you do?
for this specific thing, I would actually do that. Take the time to
Oh,
take
As much
20
time
to
as needed.
as
okay.
much time to make sure that I fully understand it so that I don't accidentally trigger it and blow up the whole station or something like that?
Right. Yeah. So, all right, then we'll come back to you after a while. I'm gonna switch over to temerity. Um,
Yay!
All right.
temerity. Uh, did you guys like? Maybe you're in like one of the offices, like the meeting, like the official business meeting office.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and we're
We-
actually, you know what? I think this is more appropriate to be going on somewhere else. I think maybe you're actually at the nightclub.
Okay.
Um, and
Is
we
this
we kind of
Bortz or what is the nightclub
it,
called?
you
Oh
don't
god,
remember what was the actual
I
nightclub
have it
called?
written down.
They have the casino, they've got the boards, and they've got a nightclub.
Well, and the casino is Bismira's den.
Right.
Hang on. Too many notes. Too many notes. Let's see. It's Shaladria and Bales.
Ah,
It's
Shaladria
yeah.
it,
and Bales.
no males. If you go to Lichtam Corporation and go to the very bottom, you'll see the Lichtam Luxury Liners and Ship Design, Besmera's Den, the casino, and then Shaladriel and Mayels, the club. And I
So
guess, Scott, figure out a name for them all. You have time.
For all
well,
three of them?
so
No.
well,
I guess it
for
could just
Oh, the
be the
mall.
Free Will Mall, the Free Will Station Mall. That works.
yeah,
Okay.
the but temerity, maybe we come in on like you're in like a VIP booth, and maybe you're kind of up there with like a number, like with there's a few other people around, like
Mhm.
but there's maybe we come in on the tail end of a conversation, and you're talking to you're talking to a Versailles or a Verthani male,
Okay.
very tall with the mousy eyes and whatnot. And he's dressed really, really nicely, well, for club anyway. He's like club nice,
Okay.
high fashion for nightclubs and stuff. And maybe he's picking his stuff up and he's like, and he's saying, just remember, if I can, not only can I get you a number of big name DJs from out of the packed worlds, I can also book if you had if you had bigger facilities for entertainment, say some sort of arena. I could also get you a number of musical acts and perhaps some sporting events. And he's like hands you his card, or like uh, as he kind of like picks up his drink and goes to take his leave.
She'll take the card and go, "Yeah, perfect. Thank you. What'd you say your name was again? I'm sorry. I'm terrible with names."
My name is Carabas.
Okay. Let's see here. Let me write that down. Uh uh Haribus. Okay. And then entertainment guy. There we go. Okay. And I'll kind of say, wonderful, wonderful. We'll be sure to be in contact as soon as we're able to afford another, well, as soon as we have in our plans a larger entertainment system.
Yeah, and let's see, right down here, Sony promoter. All right.
And
Yeah,
she's going to, as soon as he leaves the booth, she's going to kind of like scan with her compad the card, and then she's going to roll
right.
it up and then pull out a bag of Luxtasy and rail a line with it.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
and we see like in very flowing like script, like the in very flowing script, Carabas, Halo, uh, promoter, da da da. The list of sort of assumed titles that people in that entertainment agents like to put on their card, you
Of
know,
course, of course.
and he kind of and he kind of goes over and continues talking. He's maybe you just rearrange the booking of a DJ from out of the front outside of the frontier or something.
Yeah.
Um,
And
but
oh, go ahead.
yeah. So anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, I think Temerity is terribly bored.
Mm,
Like I think that currently she's waiting around for that party. And
right.
she's just killing time because she's just like checking out the local scene, seeing that it is not nearly as wild as what was on Absalom Station, and then doing more drugs and drinking about it.
Well, it's certainly like a smaller, more elite scene. Like most of these people you don't know that you've seen really walking around as much on the like main like crew decks. These are people that are they look like they're mostly tourists. Like you can tell
Mhm.
there are a few that are maybe more come from wealthier, backgrounds or whatever, maybe like working for somebody who's actually a somebody, or
Yeah.
whatnot, people's assistants or whatever on their day off. But
Yeah.
you know, um, it certainly looks like if you could get more people in coming through the station, that it would be like really, really super hopping. But there's a lot going on,
The
and you've
juice
been
is
meeting,
here. The
yeah,
juice is here. It's just we haven't squeezed it yet.
yeah,
Squeezing the juice.
you've been meeting, like you've met with a few promoters and stuff here and whatnot. And I think maybe it's kind of rolling around time for the whatever for the his party. Um and I think real like where are you guys doing this at?
The
Sounds like
party?
a Philip question.
Yeah.
Am I muted?
No, no,
Yes.
it's
No,
just
you're not muted.
Okay. All right. So the party's happening literally there. I just haven't got there yet.
Oh, okay. Uh
I
Kib,
mean, I can be there whenever, but
because you're taking 20, you're going to be ridiculously late to the party.
that's okay.
Yeah, he
Um
sees that and totally spaces the whole party thing.
Hmm.
um
Hello.
so yeah, I think kind of is like you get the others start kind of like making their way in and whatnot here and there. Uh, Zerk, for his part, uh, Zerk Silver Soul, as is typical for him, looks oftentimes less like a businessman and more like a frontier adventurer. Um, he tends not to wear the suit and tie nearly so much. I mean, he's wearing all right clothes, but he still looks a little rough and tumble. Um, he still looks like an adventurer more than he does a businessman. Uh, he and you see like um, was it Crenville? Crenville arrives, wearing his typical suit, and obviously, his normal level of disheveled, like one half of his shirt's untucked, his cuffs aren't done, his tie is kind of loose and crooked, you know. Um, and we see, Valen Sewer, the human, is dressed very, very well. He is dressed to impress. Whereas Zerk doesn't seem to really like. He still looks, uh, like an interesting individual. He's, not gone to the lengths that Valen Sewer does. In the at least not in the same way. Valen Sewer is very well dressed for this occasion. Um, who else am I missing that's big on the station that needs to be? Oh, Quindon Maloon, the Spartalvar representative for the Velquin Empire. He makes his way there with his suit tends to be is has the layers of black and gray, but he's also like the shirt that he's wearing is like a brilliant blue. Um, with a and he kind of like he's got his hair tied back into a ponytail and slicked back and whatnot. He's very well dapper dressed, but he seems to be just sort of taking it in. Uh, and it, Philip, uh,
Hmm.
when do you get there?
About 2 minutes after that.
Okay.
Now, when I get there, Ha makes it through the door first. And if all goes well, I have the wrong character sheet because Ha has his own now.
And if all goes well, I have the wrong character sheet. Awesome. Awesome.
All goes well. Come on, Ha.
Who is Krenvil again, by the way?
He's our
Crinville.
most trusted associate. He's up until I took my place within the syndicate, he was the one in charge.
Okay.
All right, Ha, do me good. There we go. All the lights go out when Ha enters the room. And then the pyrotechnics start going off by the door as I walk through, and a glow gown that has been programmed into my glamour projector. And then the pyrotechnics drop off, and the lights pop back on. And that was my entrance. Thank you very much. I bow. I curtsy. Philip doesn't bow. She curtsies.
Um,
Okay. And yeah, so I'm at the party now.
all right.
I look for Temerity. Let's see. Can I find her without her finding me?
Temerity actually is going to make a bit of an
Probably.
entrance herself.
Oh, I thought you were still at the. But it's fine. Me make an entrance. You're like, I
Yeah,
can sneak
yeah.
out and come back in.
Uh, Temerity was going to walk in and do that Willy Wonka, Gene Wilder, like slow kind of like very stiff walk with the cane, and then drop the cane and do a roll forward and kind of do a pratfall into like a somersault, and then just kind of look around like she just did the coolest shit that anyone's ever seen.
Well, I, I think there's probably like a few people like, huh? That are like they're a little confused as to what. Like, for one thing,
When you do that, all the
Phillips was
Warrenese get
completely for
completely like uncomfortable.
for 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 one thing. For one thing, you like Phillips' entrance was way over the top. The other thing, you left and came back in.
Oh,
This is
I
just
left and came
insane.
back in. Never mind. Never
Oh,
No,
mind.
no, it's still
Temerity
amazing if
would.
you do it that way.
No, I was thinking that would be Temerity's entrance. Oh, this is in the nightclub.
yeah.
Oh, never mind. I definitely didn't do that. Temerity,
Oh, okay.
do they have
You're already in the VIP section,
oh, okay,
so
do they have dancers here?
Yes.
probably.
I've got a dancer in each arm. Doesn't matter the
Okay.
gender.
Okay. Yeah.
Just been
Yeah.
big chillin'. Quietly as soon as Who's started walking into the VIP booth, I put my Luxtasy away and pretended that I haven't been taking drugs and drinking all night.
Well, um, I think yeah. So you've been kind of given like a brief on who most of these people are. Um, think is
Yeah. Let's start with Sestra.
because she hasn't arrived yet.
Hmm.
That bitch.
Yeah.
She is that bitch.
Teleport. No, I don't have that ability. Um, it wouldn't work right here. We're in space. Um,
Gonna properly introduce me to Krenvil, maybe? Seems like a good introduction.
well, I mean, he was the
You,
one. Well, yeah.
y-
But anyway, let's do that.
well, you already met Krenvil because he's the one that was giving you extra information last time.
That's right. I'm sorry.
Yeah. He was the tiefling with the bruised blue skin that
Mm,
that was sort of like an was taking on the role of an advisor for Philip.
There
right,
are a
right.
lot of tieflings on board this space station. Just so you.
Sure, sure.
So, Ancestr's not here, and
Yeah.
those people aren't showing up yet. And ooh, hmm, are the dragons here?
Uh, nope,
You know
but she's
what?
met them.
I'm
Okay.
going
Oh
to
yeah, that's true.
make I'm going to make a personal effort because Valen Sur has been neglected so much and I'm supposed to repair that.
Okay.
The second Valen Sur enters the door, just Temerity is going to drop everything and go, "Valen, it's a pleasure to see you. Thank you for showing up. Thank you so much," sort of thing. Like
Nice.
immediate ass kiss mode.
So
And when she
give
starts that, I
me.
walk away from her for a while. I'm like,
Let
oh
me
yeah,
find
you
him
take care
real
of
quick.
Valen.
Give me a. Where is that DC? I have it written down here somewhere. But give me a diplomacy check here.
Okay. 24.
Okay, let me see something. Sorry about that. I'm looking through old notes trying to figure out where I wrote that down at.
You're good.
So savage point. Oh, that's not it. That's not it. Oh, it's completely different. Did I
I
not
can't
write
wonder
that
where
down?
Kib is. I would assume it's probably 25.
Oh, hold on.
Well, maybe less for
What?
her. It'd be at least 25 for me.
Let me see.
Probably 30.
Because I've already
Let me,
made a lunch date with this person, so I'd say that I would be on. And they were like, "Hey,
And
it's
you
good."
made you did good the last time. He
Yeah,
liked you.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
let me find. Let me find the diplomacy skill here. So I need to figure out what the. I could have swore I had that written down. I'm sorry. Let's see. Creature's initial attitude. Okay. 15 plus 1.5. So that's. Okay. So 19. You're all at 24. Okay. Yeah. So, and you said you had, what was the thing you had on your diplomacy that was special?
Oh, I don't have anything on my diplomacy necessarily that's special, but last time we were on friendly terms, and I do have a lunch date with the guy. Like he was
Didn't you
like,
have an ability that moved the meter farther when you
"Oh
beat a
yeah,
DC?
fuck, you're right. Hold on, let me find that."
Good job, both of you.
Da, da, da. Why do I have slip through twice? Where is it? Hold on, let me look something up just to make sure, because I think I know what it is, but I don't want to say it without knowing for sure. Uh,
Meanwhile, Kib in the
Is it?
basement of the basement of the basement.
yes, it is my formal wear. I Nope. Okay, my formal wear exclusively makes it so I don't take any penalties to social interactions when formal wear would be needed.
Okay.
So that is what I have, I believe.
Wasn't there something from the Envoy Enhanced?
Oh wait, I think change form. Where is that? Oh, that was because I was bluffing to him with my skill expertise.
Oh, okay. So,
Yeah, yeah. So I don't have diplomacy with my skill expertise, unfortunately.
Not yet.
Not yet.
so
Once I hit level 8.
let's see. So
So that should just be that flat roll then.
9. Yeah, doesn't really improve your relationship with him, but but he's okay. But he's like, ah, and he goes, well, he goes, at least there's, he goes, I think he's just like, yes, glad, he goes, glad, you're, what is I think he's probably like, what exactly was this whole thing about? Got the invitation, but it wasn't really, there wasn't a reason given for it.
Oh, well, the captain, or the
Counselor.
counselor, thank you. The counselor, Philip, decided that it would be a good idea to have a meet and greet with me and the who's who of the station. I think, and she kind of leans in and goes, I think she considers you who's who.
And he's like, yeah, well, that'd be a change for once. It's like, uh, and he's like, so you're taking on, so how much of a capacity are you taking on in terms of, what your duties here are, your role?
Well, let's just say what I can't drag out, beat out, or otherwise take out myself, I'm going to, well, I'm certainly going to try. Pretty much anything I can get my hands on, I'm going to be keeping a capacity on. And that's transparency for you.
He kind of chuckles. He goes, he goes, so I can expect that in the future I'll need to talk to you about any docking clearances.
Well, if I can get my hands on docking, I would obviously have a delegation. You know how it is. Sometimes no man is an island, nor woman, nor anything of the sort. She'll kind of chuckle, and she'll go, but at the end of the day, for, we'll say, large scale movements, I'm hoping, at least, to be a player out here.
He goes, and they're, he goes, he's like, and they're okay with you taking over the parts of their operation. What did you do to get into their good graces? It
Uh,
took me months to get a meeting with them, and even then it was sort of short, perfunctory, and felt like it was obligatory.
ooh, that's a good one because I don't want to make him feel like I just like walked in and got the job. I'm gonna go. Let's just say that my interview went very well, and kind of give him a wink.
And he kind of goes, and he kind of chuckles. He's like, "All right, fine. Don't tell me your secrets." He, he's like, he's kind of looking around. And he's like, so these short commercials that your information or engineer, Mr. Kibb is he's ch- I've gotten a good look. I've gotten word that what we send him, he's chopping down to where it's just so minimalist. It's hard to even tell what we're even selling. Uh,
Hmm.
there anything you got any say in that? Is there anything you might be able to find me some wiggle room there?
You might be able to bend the ear of Kaisar, so it might be kind of like leaning back and goes, you know what? Leave that one to me. I'm sure that you'll see a slight improvement. Fully in
Is
traffic, too.
oh, I think he's probably content to make like mostly small talk, but you get the gist of that. Like he mostly just kind of wants to be like what's sort of like um he's aware that he's been kind of a little shut out because he's had an antagonistic, sort of like viewpoint, like,
What are you talking
um,
about? I didn't even realize that he didn't like me for like months after we
uh,
finally met him.
well, but like he felt it was sort of a slight that you immediately put the representative for the paperleaf tea trading company in charge of the council.
Mm.
Oh, well, that is true. But the paperleaf,
Yeah.
well, yeah.
So, but he,
The paperleaf is a stronger ally. He just doesn't know that.
well, he's trying to be that. He's trying to get that spot. You know,
And
that's what his business is.
I'm
He's
going to first of all offer him his drink of choice.
right,
Uh very like not Procasti, Jesus. Temerity has a very specific schmooze, you know.
right.
She's gonna offer him his drink of choice, and then she's gonna say, "You know what? I'm interested. I've heard a few things here and there about what you and your folks do, but I would love to hear it from your mouth specifically. Sell me on the dream of the Gemfish Consortium."
He's like, well, first of all, the Gemfish Trade Consortium has been trying to expand out. We're humble beginnings. We come from what you might call a backwater world in more civilized areas. As a matter of fact, when I first came here, I was a little off guard with how far advanced this place actually is compared to my own beginnings. The sheer amount of wealth that it would take to create some of these larger ships out here. Now, don't get me wrong, the Gemfish was much more aware of this than I myself was. I didn't realize how far out our operations extended. But Gemfish wants to be suppliers to as many markets as possible. You know, our investors, our backers and investors, our board, um, want no, our well, they're aimed on expansion, and this frontier is about as far out as we've managed to go. Uh, I was sent out here to find, to get, and to establish a piece of market out here, and bring the presence of the gemfish out here. The more things, the more places we can serve, the more places that we can have that we can buy goods in to sell in other places. Everybody needs something. One place has too much of something but not enough of another. The other place has the exact opposite. We just facilitate the trade that allows these separate systems, worlds, governments, whatever, to be able to deal and do business.
And
We're just looking.
what exactly is it your primary trade good? What does your consortium specialize in?
Oh, well, at this point, we have a large number of things that we deal in. Mostly anything that we can buy for cheap and sell for a modest profit somewhere else. Not necessarily greedy, but if we can find something somewhere and it's worth something to someone, it's worth a bit more to someone somewhere else, well, that's our business. And so but if you have to know, we've got a great deal of antiquities, exotic goods, artwork, those kinds of things. At least that's what we've started from. I understand we've got uh, branches that are moving into other areas. Technology, weapons technology, genetic
Mhm.
research is beyond us. The is beyond what we're looking to do, but There is a certain amount of money to be made for making equipment for those who do genetic researching. There's a number of religious artifacts, things of that nature. It is like we're getting started in a number of markets.
Hmm.
Everything from prefab shelters and settlement and settlement supplies to the raw resources to do it yourself.
If you deal in antiquities, I might be interested in something. Um, bring something, maybe a trinket, something worth, oh, I don't know, a few hundred credits. Bring something like that to our lunch meeting. If of course you want to. If that's an insult, please forgive me. But I would be more than happy to learn about the culture of the people who I'm ostensibly going to be doing quite a bit of business with. You see, I'm going to let you in on something. Something that, well, I'm sure that the counselor would never directly utter out of their own mouth. And, she's gonna lean in and go, I have been specifically tasked with improving our relationship with you. Now, I'm new here, so I don't know what baggage does or does not come with it other than what I've been briefed with, but I would assume that this is a good sign.
And it's like, and he kind of looks at you, goes, I'll tell you what, I'll see if I can find something of relevance, something that might be of interest to you. And he says, uh, and he kind of looks and uh, he kind of looks around and he goes, the Paper Leaf Tea Trading Company is not the only or isn't the only game in town that can bring something of worth to the table. And he kind of and I think he kind of like raises a toast. He's like he goes uh I think he says, well, he goes, here's to the opportunity to prove that we have something of worth.
Here's to the opportunity to take you up on an investment we should have a while ago. And I'll cheers that.
All right, yeah,
Yeah, I'll schmooze for a little bit. Obviously, I gotta hit other people at the party, but if you want to move on to another scene
right,
briefly, so it's not
all
just
right,
like me,
right.
you know?
Philip, what are you doing during all of this?
Hmm. That's an excellent question. Technically,
You cut out.
I've been trying to eavesdrop from a fair distance away. So I've been listening. I've been having small conversations with people, shaking hands, doing that sort of thing.
Give
But
me a perception to see if you how much you can catch in on that.
no, 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 no. As much as
You get about maybe half of it.
that's fine.
Or, um, but yeah, you're like making small talk and what have you.
Yeah. I mean, if Sestra's not
You cut out
here,
again.
how about now?
There you are.
I've basically been waiting on Sestra to arrive before I was going to interrupt them.
Oh, okay. All right.
So yeah, and while I'm thinking about it, Ha has taken up his spot above the crowd and activated his Sentinel fusion for just in
Okay.
case. Right.
All
It
right.
gives me that bonus if someone tries to shoot me.
All right. Um, yeah, I think let's go back to Kib for a second. So Kib, what you've found out so far is that this fail switch, you can't, the technology itself is a little beyond you. But from what you can deduce about the lines that are connected to it its location and things like that, it goes back farther to a section of the station that you really haven't that you've really never been able to explore. Like it goes far deeper in whatever it's connected to.
Well, after he looks at it a moment, like halfway through towards the end, he hears the alarm go off on his little thing to be like, "Hey, you're supposed to be somewhere," and he's like, "Okay, that's enough information for now." Oh, he's gonna be mad. Oh well, I'll show up late, and I make my way up there as fast as possible.
Okay. Yeah. So it's gonna take you a little bit getting back up through the sort of guts of this thing. Um, and like all the other stuff you've got going on your plate. So you've got to, but it takes you a while to get back up there. Uh, in the interim, I think Sestra does arrive at the club. Um, she's dressed in um, a relatively smart suit, but she's wearing but the coat she's wearing with it, the jacket with it, has got like a fur trim to it, but it's
Ooh.
all but it's all color. It's all um, like black and probably black and purple, which sort of offsets her blue skin. And like her long dark hair, she's got it pulled back into probably into a top knot, honestly. Um, and she arrives, and maybe there's a couple of that arrive with her, and she kind of looks at them and nods, and uh, they kind of like melt themselves into the crowd to the best of their ability, close to the VIP area. She kind of enters. Uh, Temerity, give me a perception check.
You got it.
All right. Um, yeah, like maybe there's a bit of a change, and you can kind of feel there's some kind of tension, but you don't know exactly what or where from. Um,
Hmm.
but I think she comes up, and probably walks up to Philip first, and it's like, my apologies. I had to set a few of my commanders straight on, well, exactly how the training should be taken care of for their individual units. Raiding parties are raided. Forming raiding parties isn't as simple as forming a pirate raiding party. A military operation needs to have a little bit more planning and a little bit more discipline and a lot less room for error. You understand.
Mm.
It's a long way to say that I had to devise punishments for those whose units have fallen short of the mark.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that you've had to take disciplinary measures against your. But it happens even on the best of ships, or the worst. Um, have you heard about my new silent partner yet?
I'd heard some whispers that there was some new associate of yours, but I haven't exactly had the time to pay too much attention to rumors of late. And
Well, I know
yeah,
you've been busy. I mean, I do keep manifest logs at least of when you leave and come back, so.
hmm, um, by the way, and maybe she pulls out like a data slate and
It's a
she
gun. It's a gun. No.
she pulls out a data slate and hands it to you. She's like, "Would you please give this to Mr. Kibb? It's the design specifications for the raider ships that we were looking at.
Hmm.
I know the Velquin Empire submitted their own specifications. These are the modifications we're looking to have added to it to make things a little bit more,
You said it's on a data slate?
yeah,
Okay, in
and
that case, I will immediately plug the data slate into my comms and send Kib the file.
yeah,
So when that gets to Kib, he'll have it. Um, and then hand her back her data slate. And I'm
yeah.
like, done.
It's
Now,
like, yeah,
as for Temerity, um, she talked the dragons and the Patra woman, the one with the heavy accent. Um,
oh, Captain Tawi,
yeah, Towie.
and I assume by dragons you're referring not to actual dragons, but the kobolds.
Who am I to judge their genealogy? They say they're dragons. Let them be dragons. Um,
She laughs at that and she goes, and she kind of chuckles at that, but she offers no further comment.
uh, I mean, honestly, they make for a decent ally, even though they would never admit it. They're like, we get paid to do stuff for him or for her. What am I doing? See, I'll be whoever I want today. Um, but it looks like we've come to an impasse. So I raised my voice a couple octaves. I'm like, Temerity.
Verity's gonna whip her head around. See Sestra and GM, I just have one question. Does Sestra, would I describe her at first glance as looking dangerous?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. There is very, very much an era like you've been around people who exude their personal power. She's one of them.
Oh
Like
hell yeah.
very definitely
Like a
like
moth to flame, just like floats over. It's just like, oh, you must be Sestra. Pleasure to meet you, and like throws out her hand.
she gives you kind of a vague smirk, like a bit of a smile, and that's almost it's just a bit short of a smirk, and she's like, and this is your new silent partner?
I'm only silent when people ask me to be.
And she chuckles. She goes, "Indeed." She's like, uh, she's like, "How much?" And she looks at you, Felton. She's like, and is like, "How much of your businesses and dealings is she brought up to speed on?"
Let's see if I can word this correctly. Due to the length of this venture, she is only at level 1 clearance at the moment, but continues to prove herself in this long day that we've had. It seems like it's been a week. Um, to prove
I
herself. At some time in the future, she will be brought up to speed on most things, except for need to know basis.
Ah, she turns around, looks back at you, Temerity. She goes, "And what exactly is your role around here to be then?"
Oh, I am a little bit of everything. I am an Abadar licensed and censured lawyer, happen to be the best one. Matter of fact, I used to be a defense lawyer out in the pack, happen to have a 99% success rate, actually, very low conviction rate. But aside from that, bit of a negotiator, hostage negotiator if you like, and also I know a damn good time.
She kind of
And like
yeah,
Temerity is like melting in front of this woman, by the way. Like
yeah, and
Hmm.
like
she
no professional composure.
yeah, she just kind of looks at you and smiles, and she's like, "So your legal department then?"
HR. I,
HR?
w- I say whisperingly. HR.
HR.
Ah, okay. And she's like, and she kind of nods and she's like, well, then, I think you'll find this a very interesting corner of space. And um, give me another perception check or a sense motive check here, actually.
I'll do a sense motive and I'll add my die onto that.
Uh,
Nice.
Let's see here. Since motif 20, add a d6 to that.
all right.
24.
You you realize something very like there you kind of realize like you follow her gaze because she is like you've noticed that there are times where she's not looking at either you or Philip, and you catch where she's actually, and at first it confuses you, but then you kind of figure out where she's looking. You don't realize, and it strikes you out of nowhere. You don't realize it's one of those. How did I not notice this before? The family resemblance between Crenville and Sestra is striking. And
Mm.
what's furthermore, it's very clear that her presence makes him a bit uncomfortable. Like, he didn't seem to get unnerved by much of anything else that you've seen, like maintaining something of an aloof, professional demeanor. Um, but this woman who is clearly related to him in some way makes him fairly uncomfortable, and she seems to enjoy it.
Kind of looks over and goes, forgive the impudence, but family resemblance?
My brother, one of many. She laughs. She says, our father got around, you might say.
Powerful man?
He
Can't
likes to
live
think
without
so.
him.
And she was like, she's like, and she kind of like chuckles at that. Um, like Crinville very clearly is trying not to make eye contact with her and very clearly trying to not be involved in the conversation.
uh,
Uh, um, and she's just kind of and she kind of relents when she realizes that it's kind of become a thing, and she goes, "We don't always get along, but we've had a we've had a couple of arguments of late,"
mm, mm.
and seems to be a bit dismissive of it. Um, and she,
You know, you're actually making the backlore worse because that means if they look that much alike, he should have noticed.
well, um,
Blinded by love.
Hmm.
maybe maybe Temerity's sense motive check is just higher than what Crenville's was at that time, or
Yeah.
Right. I'm sure
perception.
he was inebriated.
Heh. And
Might be why he doesn't drink now.
He drinks. He just doesn't drink to get drunk. Like he drinks socially.
Hmm.
Um,
Okay. I guess I've just never noticed him actually drinking, anything that we have. He must be sneaky, like a Kasathan.
hmm.
oh, no, he. Typically speaking, when Isaac is around and you guys are drinking, he kind of lounges in the background and has a drink and tries to stay out of shit when he can.
And
you know, yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
I
But
think.
yeah, he's important.
Hmm.
She's important as an asset. She runs my oh when you give someone like you money, a retainer, she is on a retainer for me for just in case.
I
Oh,
represent the Accord. We are a mercenary operation with ventures in a number of theaters and in a number of places.
I think I read your name somewhere in a book about war litigation.
Well, there have been a few sticky situations. As a mercenary, there's always somebody who considers your actions to be illegal.
Oh. Of course, of course. Actually, 1 second, and like digs around in her pocket and goes, if you ever want those sticky situations to be, well, let's say covered in solvent, and she'll like she'll palm a card to Sestra. Let me do my sleight of hand. Hold on. It's like my favorite thing to do with this character. Hell yeah.
Well, you were
Great.
starstruck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
She's like, she kind of looks at it and she kind of smiles. She goes, interesting. She goes, don't let my brother see you do that. Not that one, of course, but the other one. He'll try to recruit you. And she kind of chuckles at that.
Kind of goes, well, if your brother looks anything like you, any of you could recruit me any day. I mean, uh,
rum pum pum.
nothing.
She just kind of laughs and she's like, and she's like, looks at you, I think she looks at you and she's probably like, well, I can tell this is going to take a while for you to get used to, but she goes, here's hoping you have a bright future here. I hope I don't need this card, but there's a grand display. And she goes and tucks it into maybe she tucks it into like her coat pocket.
Mm-mm.
Um, like, and I think she probably is kind of like, uh, yeah, I think if the two of you will excuse me, a little business to discuss with Mr. Silver Soul over there. And she nods towards Zerk.
Ah, shucks, that's who I was gonna go see next. um,
Yeah.
I think she'll kind of nod, and the second Sestra is out of earshot, um, I think that Temerity's going to like look at Philip and go, "How'd I do? Do you think I look good? Do you think I look good?" Ah, shit! I should have fucked with my hair a little bit. God damn it! Like,
And maybe there's like, and this is probably about the time Kib you arrive. What does
Right
it
as
look
I
like
say,
when Kib arrives?
I tried to sneak in,
hmm,
Give me
so it
your.
doesn't look like I rolled a 23 for stealth to try to sneak in to make it look like I wasn't late and I've been here the whole time.
Oh, Philip doesn't notice. Temerity.
uh,
Ha notices.
Holy cow!
ha!
uh, and Temerity notices. Like if Philip,
yeah.
you don't exactly notice, but Ha sure as shit does, and so does Temerity.
Yeah, I get oh wow, a
You
bloop
see
on my
Kib trying
comp.
to. Yeah, you see Kib trying to sneak in. When you get caught, Kib, do you like do that whole freeze, like you don't see me, or do you just like, oh well, whatever?
He's kind of like trying to sneak in there and then notices everybody looking at him. He's like, "Hi, how y'all doing? Great party. Where's my drink?"
It's at the bar.
He heads to the bar like, "Oh, I've been here a while."
Hmm.
Still trying to bluff it off, I guess.
I like that patently gets caught. I think that Temerity's gonna go,
Horribly at bluffing.
wow, he is a terrible liar. Remind me to make sure if he's in court, he doesn't say words.
Right. So the only way I smile and I lean down and I'm like, the only way that could happen is if we just vote.
Ooh, don't tempt me, counselor.
Don't tempt me to marry. There are days where it would be worth it.
Kind of chuckle and uh, probably go, probably holler at the bartender to get me another obsidian sunrise.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's like, do you go all the way up to the bar, or do you just have a server get it for you?
One of the dancers that I like had earlier hanging out with me, I'll probably like pull them aside and I'll actually tip them 10 credits to do that.
Okay, all right, yeah, 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 that's no problem. They'll go get you a drink.
Yeah.
Uh,
I figure I'll just spread around my money and waste it on things that don't matter so that when I do need it, I can say, "Man, where did all my money go?" But yeah, I think Temerity is definitely having a good time at this party. Actually, I'm gonna roll a bluff check real quick. Uh, yeah, Temerity's hiding the fact that she's wasted pretty good right now.
Nice.
She's used to this. She was like a party lawyer, and like this is a party, and she's a lawyer, so she's right at home.
Um, I think there's a and Kib, do you actually go to the bar or do you have somebody get a drink for you?
No, I go straight to the bar and be like, uh,
Okay.
normal? Wait, what's the right? Usual. Yeah.
Yeah, then the bartender comes back with you. You know, it takes a couple. It doesn't take very long for the bartender to come back with your drink. They know who you are. Um, like, uh, but yeah, there's you get your drinks, and you kind of have a moment to yourselves to discuss, unless you wanted to go talk to like Quindon Maloon, the representative from the Velquin Empire.
Now, are we on good terms with Veliquin?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And what's their deal again? They're like magic
Um,
technocracy,
Well,
right?
they are Empire of Shadow people. Like there, it's
Oh.
the Svartalvar, which are
Hmm.
Shadow Fae, are like the rulers of this of the Velquin Empire. But the
Hmm.
Kayals, which are basically Shadow people who are not Fae, sort of live there too, as sort of like sort of semi second class citizens. More like none of them are in the nobility more than anything.
And we're
Um,
supplying them ships, right?
a very
you
small amount.
well, technically, that deal is you're not even supplying ships to the Velquin Empire itself. You're supplying ships to for the Velquin Empire to the Accord for them to do carry out raiding attacks under the cover of not the Velquin not having anything to do with it. But that's a deal you're only have some surface level. You might be aware that there's a at level one. I'm sure you were told that there's an alliance with the Velquin Empire that you guys have like trade relations and stuff, and that there's a deal with with the Accord. But I don't think you know about the secret three-way deal necessarily. So you might not know they're supplying ships to the Velquin Empire. You probably know you might know that they're supplying to the Accord, but not necessarily why
Um,
at this point.
well, unless well, I suppose I should make my rounds. I'll just kind of because I know that the Veliquin Empire are at war right now, right?
They're at war with the Girin Empire, which are a bunch of humans who keep synthetic life forms as their slave labor
Yeah, I don't
and
think.
look down on anybody who's not human.
Yeah, I definitely think that Temerity thinks those guys are assholes.
Yeah.
Um, so I think Temerity will kind of go and introduce herself. She's waiting to meet Zerk, because that's
Yeah.
definitely somebody she needs to meet. But she'll mingle and get to know the who's who, you know.
All right. So when you approach like Quentin Maloon, he turns, he's like, he goes, ah, I was wondering when you were going to have a moment. And he goes, he's like, allow me to introduce myself. I am Quentin Maloon. I'm the diplomatic attaché from the Velquin Empire. I was assigned by Count Lesev to the post. He says, he says, I'm here to maintain diplomatic and trade relations with this station. Says I understand you're going to be a part of that process, if the
A-
rumors hold true.
Absolutely. I would happen to be Temerity. I am going to be this ship's legal counsel, head of HR, and anything else I can get my hands on. And kind of give him a big grin, and I'll palm him a card.
All right.
I do it pretty bad. I'm pretty fucked up.
Yeah, he kind of looks back at you. And he's like, he looks at the card. And he's like, um, oh, I think he says, well, he says he says, I would like to assure you that as far as the Velquin Empire is concerned, case the case involving Countess Serivia's death has been closed as a matter of speaking. The leaker of information turned out to be a junior member of my own staff, if you can believe it.
Ooh.
Fresh off of the shuttle within
Oh, I can hear a lot
only
of
been
different.
hit. Yeah, I don't know where that came from. It's like, I, he's like, and the Inquisitor Thier may have been a bit much, but he did inform us of a few things. Said, for one thing, I'm sure you're aware that he spoke with with Counselor Defoe about the security issues around here.
Are you talking about the probably be like are you talking about the bounty hunters?
No, no, no,
Mhm.
no, not the bounty hunters. I, I'm sorry, you may be a bit out of on this. We recently, Count Lesib's sister was recently assassinated. When
Oh, that's what you're talking about.
she was coming to a meeting here to for a meeting here. Somehow the information was leaked, and her ship was destroyed with her on board. The
Hmm.
he says there apparently are psychic spies running amok in this the Inquisitor lack of stillness determined that there are a number of security holes here, a number of people around here who seem to have psychic defenses, but a large number of people who knew or may have known incidental knowledge that don't have the psychic defenses. This is, he says, he's like, but I please extend to Miss Depot my personal apologies for the rather abrupt nature of the investigation.
Hmm. Hmm.
It was im-
Understood.
it was ordered by the Imperial Court. It was necessary.
Kinda nod and say, "Ah, understood. Sometimes business and politics play that way."
By the way, is there any news on the League of Helidis and their accusations of assassination against Miss Defoe? It did
Well,
cast a shadowy. It did cast a bit of a taint on her reputation within the Velquin Empire.
Within
yes.
reason, she's only been here for a day, I say.
No, I'll probably say we're working currently to rehabilitate that image.
And he kind of nods. He's like, and I think he.
Obviously, the accusations of my client are patently false, and even if there was some water to them, which there might be in this case, the water runs dirty because of other foul play situations.
He nods. He's like, diplomacy and brinkmanship can be a very tricky endeavor. I'm not I'm not party to all the details involved. I do know what the League of Helades has said, but he said, which, if I'm honest, prompted the Imperial Court to send an investigator here in the first place.
Mm.
Believe it or
Couldn't
not,
be couldn't be too careful.
believe it or not, we're actually going to be releasing our first official statement tomorrow morning at 7 Pax Standard on the dot.
Ah, answer to the accusations placed against you. I do hope you realize that Tyrus Skilled is a very formidable businessman and a very rich and powerful individual. I understand that he has some association with the Amber Reef.
And I'll kind of nod and say, interesting. And that would happen to be that group of high society socialites, correct?
Yes, Countess Sarivia was a member as well, in good standing, dues paid. Even was even Netrine, the cordial hand Netrine herself was even there to conduct. Even came by while Count Lessa was here to offer her personal condolences.
Well, while we will be releasing an official statement tomorrow, I have something you could take to your own personal friends, quite candidly and, well, semi off the record. We, even though we are smaller than the collective potential bargaining power of the Amber Reef, will not be bullied into submission by false accusations simply put forward by people who believe they have something to gain by moving our political needle farther away from its current goal.
He nods and he goes, well, he goes, I personally don't have a lot of skin in the game. The the Imperial Court does worry about who their potential allies are or who they appear to be to the rest of the galaxy. But personally, the League of Helades, I know enough not to tangle with Tyrus Skilled if I don't have to, but otherwise, I don't have any current business with them, good or ill. So whatever is between the League and the station, that's your business as far as I personally am concerned.
Kinda,
Mm.
kinda will nod and say, well, at the very least, I hope that our bearish sentiment will help us against a much larger opponent, because, well, one might not wish to tangle with Tyrus Skilled. We're certainly not apt to back away from a fight if it's put on our doorstep. And kind of will give just this absolute winning smile. Like, she is 100% on her lawyer bullshit right now. This is like, she's in like defense politics mode.
I think he probably chuckles and chuckles at that and then he goes, I look forward. He says, given the conversation, I look forward to the official statement tomorrow.
And she'll
Is
kind of nod and say, "Well, we'll be sure to broadcast it as loud and clear on any platform that'll hear us." And kind of say, "So tune in to your local wherever you watch."
He's like, he kind of chuckles. He goes, well, there really is only one place to watch here.
Oh
Well,
heavens, only one?
he kind of laughs. He goes, your chief engineer tends to keep the infosphere on lockdown.
Hmm. We'll see about that in the future.
Mm, Not many media sources. There's the occasional reports that come in from elsewhere, get played messages that will get played locally in boards or other establishments. But outside of that, as far as any kind of live entertainment or live politics of any kind, I'm afraid sometimes this place is a few months behind on its information. Not always, but sometimes.
Ah, it can't be helped with the distance. I was a few months late to getting here. They shipped me off 20 years ago. I should have been here by now.
He kind of chuckles. He's like, and he says, "Well, it is good to make your acquaintance." And he kind of like gives you a slight nod, and he's like, hopefully we'll have a productive working relationship in the future.
We prefer it that way. And one more handshake. I think I
Yeah.
clocked 5 handshakes in this conversation.
Okay. Sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think he just kind of takes this in stride, for the most part.
yeah.
Um, Jim, you're kind of seeing all of this. I mean, maybe you don't hear all the conversations, but you see that Temerity is making her way around the room talking to people and what have
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, Kib watches, but he knows that if he says anything, he'll probably mess up anything that anybody's trying to do. So he just kind
Right.
of wanders around, kind of like, "Hey, how you doing?" Not really in interrupting any conversations per se, but just greeting.
Right on, right on. Um, yeah, I think there is a point where, like, after a bit of conversation, eventually, uh, eventually, like Sestra, uh, throws a drink in Zerk's face, laughs. Um, he seems to laugh it off too, and she walks away. I think she walks over to a corner to talk to and pulls out her comm unit and you know seems to be answering a call. Zerk, for his part, grabs a towel from a waiter, thanking him as he does so, and wipes his face off. Kind of um, still laughing a little bit.
I think before he heads over, or before she heads over, she'll like look at Fellup and be like, man, what does a girl got to do to get her to throw a drink in her face?
There are ways.
Says,
Yeah.
introduce me to your friend there. I hear the paper leaf are particular about introductions.
To a certain degree. I we walk over, and is he currently in the middle of the conversation with someone?
Oh, he's finishing wiping his face off, still chuckling a little bit at his exchange
Mm.
with Sestra.
Interesting customs your people have when it comes to dating.
He goes, "Oh, no, 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 no." He goes, It's a whole thing." He goes, "It's a whole thing. Ah, it'd take a while to explain it. And I'm
No
certain
need.
it'd be a
This,
better story for later."
this, my dear friend, is Temerity, in charge of HR.
Ah, yeah, you were at the meeting at the last merchants meeting. I remember. He's like, so so it's official. You're actually sticking around to fulfill a role here.
Well, as long as they'll keep me. Kinda grinning.
He's like, and he kind of takes a moment. And he's like, he goes, well, by all means, Zerk Silver Soul at your service. And he gives like a exaggerated bow, like with a very large flourish. You know, like unlike everybody else, like he's wearing like a thick leather vest that looks like it was probably actually hand cured and hand sewn and whatnot. Um, and underneath he's just wearing like this really basic uh shirt that's kind of nice, but he's got it like about two buttons, the top two buttons unbuttoned in a very casually. and it's a nice shirt, but it's not like uh, it's not like the thing that you'd wear to next month's charity ball in high society necessarily. Um, and he kind of like and you see like just the faintest outline of some tattoo on his chest, like peeking up from above his shirt line. He just kind of looks at you, and he's like, and he goes, "Well," he goes, "hopefully," he says, "hopefully you can keep these gentlemen out of trouble, or this gentleman out of trouble." And he points over at like maybe he grabs you, Kib, as you're walking by, and he kind of says this one's a lot of says this one requires a special amount of attention, and kind of chuckles about it.
Oh, we've
Kib, how do
already
you
talked
respond?
about some voluntary surgery, Kib. Just with a big grin on my face.
Wait, wait. Okay, wait. Yeah,
Inside joke.
sure.
Had to be there.
He kind of chuckles. He says, he says, "Well, at least you know that this place isn't going to fall out of the sky anytime soon." He says, "This one here predates the whole operation you see going on here right now.
Oh, wow.
S- Did you know this one was here when the last occupants were here? Group of pirates, dangerous individuals." And he
Oh,
kind of
They
goes,
were. Well, it depends on what side of the coin you were on. Whether they were. da- Okay, yeah.
you know what?
No,
No, I hear you. I hear you. Who says that they have to be pirates? I say privateers, mercenaries. For all I know, someone could be calling freedom fighting banditry. It happens more often than you might think.
he kind of chuckles and he goes, "And I'm certain most of them simply left their letters of marque in their other space pants." And he
What
kind
can
of
I
chuckles at
say?
that.
They lost them at the laundromat. That's my
Eh,
job. Find new pants.
He laughs at that. Well, he's like, "Indeed." And he's like, "Well, you shouldn't have too much to worry about from me. The Paper Leaf Tea Trading Company tries to keep a relatively low profile. Me, not so much, but the tea trading company itself, yes. If you're ever in the market for some fine teas, drop by the shop."
Oh,
This
I'm
is
always in the market for fine things, be them consumable or not.
he kind of chuckles. He's like, he goes, "Oh, everything's consumable if you approach it right." And he goes, "Well, think about all of the things we talk about consuming all of the time: information, entertainment, culture. It's all consumable."
Kinda says, you know, I hadn't thought about that way. And I'll probably keep thinking about it the same. No, I'm just kidding. Um,
Right?
yeah, she'll kind of chuckle, and go, I'm just giving you a hard time.
He's kind of like, "Ah, indeed." He goes, "Well, I will try to keep the noise down on my front." Um, he goes, he goes, "I'm certain my colleague, Mr. Sewer, has already spoken to you about the brevity with which the advertisements were being allowed." And he kind of looks at you, Kib, as well, and he goes, "So I won't bore you with revisiting the conversation."
wait. Did I
Kinda.
miss something again?
Your restricted access on the mainframe and postscript editing of commercials, we might have to taper back on that a little bit.
What? So everybody can have access to it?
Well, the important people.
No,
Well, no.
they want a longer commercial, longer
That
than everybody else's.
And
They want you to dial back on the editing.
I'd say instead of longer than everybody else's, let's just give a couple privilege groups uncut editing privilege on their advertisements, such as Mr. Soar and, of course, our friend here, Mr. Silver Soul.
Well, not all airtime is free.
Well, consider what they're bringing to the table for us. Valuable, valuable goods. I hear tea prices are quite high, and kind of like winks at Silver Soul. And as for Mr. Soar, well, let's just say, let's just say you were there for the conversation. You people want me to bring them on board. This is what you guys need to do if you want them on board.
I think Zarek probably looks at you guys and goes, "This seems like an internal conversation. Whenever you have made decisions on such things, I would appreciate being in the loop. But for the time being, I don't think I have any business being a part of this internal conversation,
Ah.
if you will."
Simon says,
And he
"I
kind of,
curtsy."
yeah, he
Right.
kind of excuses himself. Excuses
I've
himself
had
for
a
the
bit to
conversation
drink
so you
and
guys
I
can talk.
can't see. I've had some to drink. When I drink, I don't have control of my tongue. It just goes. I don't even know where my drink went. I think I finished it,
It's
which
right
means
here.
to tell me that I'm done. Because,
No, you still have half of this one.
oh, okay. Eh,
Okay.
I'm just going to reveal more shit.
No, you're not.
What's the word?
You're a good boy. No, you had it right.
Some sort of secrets. No, I have no secrets. I didn't find a cool button. Anyways,
A pool button.
a cool button is kind
Kib,
of,
I think you're slurring.
yeah, just a little bit. Um, what was I saying? Hi, how
Something
Nope,
you
about a
guys
it's
doing?
cool
fine.
button?
What
No,
button?
there's no button.
Who found a button?
You found a button.
Oh, I did?
Oh, wait. Apparently, we've all
No.
had a little bit too much tonight. So,
Bucks
I
to
think
see
that's
anyone?
everybody that's important. All right.
It's here at the moment anyway.
Okay. Um, and I can't introduce them to Joan or the other people because they're not here tonight. We should really hit them up and see if we can get them in the next couple weeks. Um, but I haven't seen Joan recently either. So
Oh, right. If we don't have anything else to do, we need to get working on that.
remember, this is still your first day.
Yes, but I did promise a statement at 7 a.m. tomorrow.
Okay, so you can get started on that. I'm going to go ahead and go to sleep.
Absolutely. And she'll like pull out her Lux to see again and like
What,
look around for a
For
brief second.
what are we
and
doing a statement for? Or you
Oh,
got it?
oh,
for the
Okay.
person that you. Okay, Kib, I want you to look at me. Look at me directly, okay? Are you looking in my eyes?
Well, they're kind of a little bit hot, not much higher. A little
Yeah.
bit higher.
Okay. You guys didn't kill her, okay? And like she like looks around to make sure no one's overhearing and just is like coaching Kib like you didn't. Now, Kib, if I say, did you kill her? What do you answer?
No.
There you go. And that's all
that
you
was
got to
so
say.
hard.
If anyone else asks any other questions about details where you were, anything like that, anything at all, you say these magic words. I reserve my right to silence. I want to have my lawyer. Just say that as many times as you can, and by the time that you've said it about 100 times, I'll be there, like a click of the heels.
Do I need a lawyer now?
No, 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 you're good for right now. Just,
Oh, okay.
well, mostly,
She,
probably.
she's technically only a 1 credit retainer, but still.
It's a good enough retainer. By the way, you owe me 5,000.
Okay, well, you get paid on the first.
Ooh,
It's through
excellent.
the company.
a pay schedule. Lovely.
Let's see. I mean, we normally don't pay attention to money that often, but technically everyone gets a check when they remember to send it.
Hell yeah.
And now that we have a lawyer, they should be much more regular. And I'm the prince of time in this game, so
Hmm.
I normally know when a month has passed.
Nice.
Right.
I
So,
guess I'm the princess of time in this game, but either way.
Yeah.
statement you make.
All right.
Yes,
Got
you
it.
all
So,
make the statement.
don't you have an early shift today as well? Almost today, kid.
Oh, right, I do.
Okay. So finish that, and then I'll take you back to your room. And however long you decide to sleep after that is up to you. But if I don't get at least 5 hours, my eyes look horrible. And I squint just a little bit so they glow extra hard.
Can you type out the name
Right.
of the girl who we killed for sure that I'm trying to say we didn't kill?
Oh shit. I'll find her name.
Man, she had her own perfume line. It should be easy.
Estelle Lauder?
Mm, no.
Was
No,
her name
that's not.
Tommy
Mm.
Hilfiger?
Nope, that wasn't it either by any
Ah, dang.
seriously.
Or was it Tamita Hilfiger?
Eh.
Ah.
But yeah, so she was a Sheeran, and just so you know, you'd be aware of this, there is video.
Oh, yeah, I can work around that. That's fine.
The Sharon woman? Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
All right.
And
Thank you.
put it
Wow,
in
I was
there.
way off on this felony.
Well, that's the thing about sci-fi and fantasy names.
Lichdom
Because
Incorporated is a. Sorry, go ahead.
no, never mind. What's your question?
Lichdom Incorporated is a front-facing corporation, right? Like people know that Lichdom
Yes.
exists. Okay.
Yes. Lichdom, technically, Lichdom is the corporation that Philip runs.
Uh-huh.
The syndicate is sort of backing a lot of this stuff in terms of like being there, but Lichdom is all Philip. Like Philip's is sort of like the boss for the sector for the syndicate, so their operations are a bit separate.
Mm-hmm.
But because Lichdom is very specifically like Phillips.
Okay. Excellent. I am
So,
just typing up what that is going to be, that press release.
so as you let's see. So what is everybody up to now? What are you guys like? I mean, there's still people around and what
7
have you.
a.m.
So you guys are gonna go to
Yeah, we're
bed.
going to roll out of the party.
Okay, so you're
We
gonna
all have
roll out.
stuff to do. Sleep
All right.
statement, because Temerity never sleeps, apparently.
She does. It's just in very short, sporadic bursts.
Is that because you pass out?
Yeah, usually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Philip, what's
So
your Steptoe, right?
Yeah.
And Kib, do you have a last name?
I don't
I
think
don't
we've ever
remember.
I don't think
Is
we've
it on
ever
your
seen a
sheet?
last name for Kib. Everybody just call yeah, it's your sheet just says Kib. If he's got a last name, then you'd need to add it because up to this point, that's just kind of yeah. That's-
He doesn't recall having a last name. He's always been, for the longest time, just Kib.
or Mr. Kib, some as
Yeah,
people
Mr.
sometimes
Kib.
call him now. Well, like the people that work for you or live on the station or work for Philip call you Mr. Kib. And most diplomatic or economic contacts do because, you don't really have a last name to call you Mr. It's like a cultural respect thing, um there are plenty of people out there that just think of you as Kib. Like certain
That's the
pirates,
way Kibs want it.
like certain pirates and certain bounty hunters.
We don't count them.
Well, that's funny because they count you.
Oh, I know. Don't threaten me. I'm from a mob.
I'm from a mob. I'm I have a syndicate. Um,
And I'm from a mob.
so we you maybe like we get like the sort of passage like sort of a passage of time type thing, like a time lapse with the screen in three parts, each of you in your room doing whatever it is you're doing, sleeping, working, or what have you. Uh, and temerity until you pass out, I guess. Uh, Kib, I don't know if you actively go to bed or if you just pass out working on something. That's up to you. Uh,
Like, he thinks about it, and he's like, no, I'm going to try to go to. And then he aims for the bed and misses, and then falls asleep on the floor.
nice. Uh, yeah. We get a time lapse thing going on, and as we're kind of like coming up to the you know maybe like we see the time go by, fly by, and eventually you guys start waking up. Who would wake up first? Just out of curiosity.
Oh, Temerity.
Temerity, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
you
Temerity wakes up and immediately takes Luxtasy. Like it's like
okay.
coffee.
Okay.
um.
He immediately gets high as a kite.
Oh yeah,
You-
for sure.
Mm.
Everything's all tracered out. You are seeing hallucinations.
But she's
Um,
only micro dosing. You
should you
know?
so, baby dosing, huh? I
Yeah,
get
just
it.
just baby dosing. That's
You,
not
For
I
gonna
the
don't.
for the
sustain long
taste.
term
For the
issues.
taste, huh?
Yeah,
The
exactly.
the doctor would not make that little bit great.
Let's see here.
You've been like, I do a big giant bill, and I'm like, ooh, really? Okay.
Yeah. Fucking there's
Ah,
a but as so who would wake up next effectively?
that would be me. I set an
Okay.
alarm. I wasn't.
Kim, do you wake up when you mean to or do you oversleep?
I
I haven't messed
oversleep
with
by
your
10
comp.
minutes.
By exactly 10 minutes.
Yep.
Nice.
Then I'm like, oh, I got to be to work. I got a shift. Oh, crud. Um, I'm good. Grab a cup of coffee as I'm running down the hallway to the observation thingy.
Right? So I think we like maybe that triple split screen continues to follow each of you as you are going to where it is you're going in the morning. Like, or Philip, where is it you're going in the morning? Like,
Ops.
you're going to ops? So like maybe your screen shows you walking to ops, and we see like the familiar, like the familiar hallways and stuff of between Philip's room and ops. Kib, you're going to what, engineering? Or did you have somewhere else in mind?
I had a shift in ops, I thought.
You do.
Okay.
In the mornings, and I'm 10 minutes late to it, and I was running to that.
Yeah, maybe we get like Philip is like ahead of you on the way to ops, and you're headed that way too. But you're like much more hurried. And Temerity, we catch like you heading to wherever you're going to put out your statement. Like, are you holding like are you holding like a conference of some sort? Have you organized something like that, or what's this look
Yes,
like?
I am going to be doing a press conference. Anybody who has a camera and reasonable press accreditation is welcome in. Um, and I have a statement prepared, actually.
Okay. All right. Maybe we see you get Temerity getting up to like your podium or wherever it is you're going to get the statement. And Philip, maybe we see you rolling up. Do you have like a cup of coffee or tea or anything? Do you grab anything to drink on the way?
No, but once I make it into my
You cut out.
start the day. How about now?
There you are.
And this is better?
There you go.
Yeah. And say after I make it into the office, the first thing I do is start the day with a shot of Pebblebrook whiskey.
Okay.
Just like the 12-year.
So we get as maybe we get this triple split screen, and it's as you're taking your shot of Pebblebrook, and Temerity, you're like shuffling your papers or like maybe scrolling your data pad, getting ready to make your statement. And Kib, you are hurrying down the corridor, and the power goes out all across the station, and we see and Kib, everything for you, you're in a corridor heading up. Everything for you, like the first thing you notice is like the power goes out, and as soon as you go to look around, everything goes black, and that's where we're gonna end it tonight. Dun dun dun.
Hello, tonight I played Philip Defoe, who is now very angry. Mostly because no matter what it might be, from her perspective, when the lights go out, bad things happen. This is the only thing I'm playing in right now until we bring back Pillbox Panic, which I think everyone in this group is looking forward to. We enjoyed managing to survive in a game that normally kills you within 15 minutes of starting to play. Um, with that said, Mira, would you like to go next? Or Scott?
Sure.
Oh, and player's choice, everyone.
Hmm.
That too.
Hello everybody. My name is Mira Shades, also known as Win 5 Get 1 Free at one point. And today you caught me playing Temerity, doing my best to eat up all of the screen time. Nom 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 nom. That's me. But today you got me playing a skeezy sleazy space lawyer who's skleezing skeezily out on the skleez deck. Trying to find ways to wriggle her new clients out of their first and most difficult challenge, a murder case that they have camera footage of them committing. Excellent. Um, you can also catch me next time we do Pillbox Panic. And I've got a game coming down the pipeline, though that's going to be in something like 3 to 6 months. But when it happens, you'll know. You'll be the first to know. On the cutting edge, and that's me.
All right.
Okay,
Ellie.
then me,
Yep.
me. Which name am I going by? Scott, Psych, whatever. Pick one. I don't care. Um, I played Kib. Kib's fun. I like Kib. He was quiet at first, then he got drunk, and then he starts rambling on like usual. Now it's dark. Did I push the button? Or did I not? Oops. Um, what else am I in? Um, Saturdays when we do Lands of Ibaria, I play everybody's favorite little cat that has a new little cage type thing. It's a backpack carrying thing that the cat can hang out in to not get in trouble. But the cat loves the little thing because then people can carry him around and he doesn't have to walk. It's perfect. It's awesome. But come to Lands of Ibaria and watch the weird Christmassy thing they're doing right now. It's kind of cool. But that's it. I
I love
think.
Zamzam.
All
I
right.
also love Zamzam.
Awesome. So first of all, let's get the bookkeeping out of the way. Everybody gets 800 experience points.
Oh,
Uh, Mostly because Temerity did very well on diplomacy checks, and Kib actually managed to make a couple of, well, actually managed, like Kib's ever failed an engineering role. Um,
it's
uh,
happened. I think it was the
has it?
first episode.
Okay, yeah. All right, so it's been a long time ago. It rarely happens. Uh, so everybody gets 800 XP, and player's choice goes to Philip, so you get an extra 50 XP.
Woo!
Um,
That might do it.
and with that said, I am the Just a King Zerat. You can catch me here on Monday nights for Freewheel Station. Sorry we were a little late getting kicked off tonight and not quite as long as we would normally like to do, but we did get in here. We did get some stuff done, and I'm looking forward to next week. Um, Pillbox Panic, we'll have to talk about that and try to figure out. Chances are good that it'll be like a late night stream just based off my schedule, and what have
And
you.
mine.
But um, I think that's all we've got for tonight. So let's get a bring out the dragon and get out of here.
Bring out the
Bring out the
dragon.
Bring out the
dragon!
dragon!
Man.